Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. It is time for yet another BlizzCon. In this video, I'll be going over the major announcements from the opening ceremony. Now, this is a bit more like BlizzCon 2011, where it's a lot more about the details than the announcements themselves, so especially for the Warcraft stuff, check back with the channel over the next 2 days, and I'll be keeping it all up to date. But let's just get right into this video and hit it off with Legion. They announced absolutely nothing other than to watch the Legion panel, so that's it for Legion. Let's move on to Diablo 3. So with Diablo 3, they announced that they're doing a redo of Diablo 1 in Diablo 3. Essentially, a patch is going to throw you back into the first game's 16-layer dungeon, complete with all 4 bosses. There will be a retro graphics option, and you will be locked to 8 movement directions, and there's apparently going to be a whole bunch of secrets down there. Now, I think that's pretty damn nifty overall. Now, the next thing they said is there will be 2 new Reaper of Souls zones being added for free in 2016 that will be coming through Adventure Mode. And then finally, they are adding the Necromancer class to Diablo 3. That's something that I know a lot of people, especially a friend of mine, they've just missed from Diablo 3. They really wanted to play the Necromancer. So that's in. It'll be coming in 2017. I suppose a bit of a downside is that you will actually have to pay. It is a purchase in what they're calling a character pack. Now, I do think that's fair. A new class is quite a lot of content, voice acting, etc. And apparently this character pack will have other stuff. And next, let's head on over to Overwatch. Really, we did see a lot of the Overwatch stuff coming, though. So, first of all, Sombra got announced. About damn time. I know that ARG thing really had a lot of people riled up. Seems a bit odd doing an ARG that long for something that would be a BlizzCon announcement anyway. So, as much as it was cool seeing Sombra, seeing their new little cinematic thing, it's not that exciting because we all knew it was coming, and a lot of people have sort of speculated quite a lot about Sombra. Now, there is other good news. There's an Oasis map. Well, there's a map called Oasis coming out. Seems like it's based off Dubai, roughly. So that seems pretty nifty. They've also decided to make a esports sort of proper, like, regional league setup. Basically, they have region team formation via tryouts. The team leaders kind of tend to pick up players. They want to do standardized wages, standardized support. Essentially, make esports a lot more legit for Overwatch and closer to what I imagine is how, say, the American system runs with some of their sports leagues, and perhaps how LCS runs with League of Legends. Overall, I think that is a really, really good announcement, though, and definitely something that should help to grow esports. Next, for Overwatch, we have arcade mode. This actually seems really cool to me. So we're getting game types and maps that are a little bit less orthodox. We know for a fact there will be a 1v1 and 3v3 style game mode. It seems like the arcade is somewhere where they're going to be throwing wacky ideas and doing things for the sake of fun. Now, we're actually going to see a lot of the arcade very soon. The next PTR will include all of the content that I mentioned, bar the Oasis map, which comes out in the PTR on December. And yeah, so next week we'll really know a lot about pretty much all of this content. Next, moving on to StarCraft II. So, the final Nova mission pack is going to be coming out. So that'll be exciting for like 3 people, including me. There's new co-op commanders and mission packs. They talked about how their co-op stuff is played as much as their competitive stuff is now with StarCraft, which was certainly news to me. So I guess that's pretty cool. And they also announced a collaboration with DeepMind to essentially use StarCraft as a platform to start building out AI. And basically use it to help develop AI technology, which is really cool. Next, we've got Heroes of the Storm. So there's a new brawl called Blackheart's Revenge. It's an attack defense where the attackers are using Blackheart's boat to destroy the defender's core, so that's kind of nifty. We've got Varian and Ragnaros being added. They had a really cool trailer as well. Varian is a multi-class hero, so like warriors and WoW, he can take on a range of roles, tanking, a few different flavors of DPS. Ragnaros seems quite interesting. He rambles around normally like other heroes do, but one of his abilities basically plops him onto a turret, he kind of takes it over, or a fort, whatever, and he's basically like a raid boss for the other team to fight. So that seems like a different direction for a hero like that. Varian releases November 15th, and Rag releases in December. There's also a whole bunch of new skins and mounts, many of which are tied into a giveaway called the Nexus Challenge. Playing 15 and 30 games with your friends will give you a bunch of free stuff, and that includes some free stuff for Overwatch, so they probably want to capitalize on Overwatch's success to try to cross-pollinate over to Heroes of the Storm, because they're both games with some sort of esports potential. And then finally, we've got Hearthstone. We've got the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan coming as the next expansion. So it was kind of strange. They spent ages doing loads of world building for a card reveal, which was a bit strange, but basically it seems like this card set is based off... But essentially it seems like this card set is based off 3 different crime families in Gadgets, and we've got the Grimy Goons, the Jade Lotus, and the Cabal. Each one of these crime families has a set of tri-class cards. So the Cabal's ones can be played, as an example, by Warlocks, Mages, and Priests. So one of the cards they gave as an example on a battle cry would discover a card for the Warlock, Mage, or Priest class. Any of the three. So if you're playing a Warlock, you could get a Priest card from it. So that could lead to some pretty cool stuff. And then each crime family has a legendary card who's their leader. And again, it's a tri-spec legendary. Now, I'm assuming they'd say like the Goons, that'll be like the more warrior-like classes. Maybe the Jade Lotus will be the more rogue-like classes, something along those lines. And the example of the legendary that they gave, it would create a potion based off, essentially you would have a choice of like what mana cost you want the potion to be, and then you just kind of get choices of attributes, and it would make a card for you. So that does seem pretty cool, and that is an early December release date. And that's it for the opening ceremony. I've got to say I was a little bit, not let down because I didn't have particularly high expectations, but I maybe wanted them to try to sort of impress us with Diablo. A lot of people were very impressed by what they announced for Diablo, but from my perspective, like Diablo 1, Diablo 2, they're known things, and while the Necromancer is a new bit of flair for the live game, that game still is, well, it's the same. It's still just Diablo 3, and even if they add 2 new zones to it, that's still not that interesting at all to me. What I want to see is Diablo 4, or the expansion after Reaper of Souls. Something to push that franchise forward. And I think it's kind of unfortunate we didn't really get that. Overall, it did feel like the opening ceremony was really quite bloated with very little actual substance to it in comparison to some other BlizzCon opening ceremonies that we've seen. But as I said at the top of the video, I think this is going to be one of those cases where it's more about thinking about the Blizzard franchises that you're interested in and then enjoying the details that they announce at the specific panels for those properties. So for everyone on this channel, the Legion panel is probably the thing that we're going to be really caring about quite a lot, as opposed to the sort of main announcements. But that's basically it for me. Stay tuned to the channel over the next few days. I will be keeping you up to date with all the really important stuff. But yeah, with that, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.